Let's review Juno. Have Blizzard cracked the code? Well, this is my most cracked bit of gameplay so far with this hero. The ultimate heals and it damage boosts, but this ultimate actually allowed me to stay alive enough for my team to get back and then recontest the point, and we actually managed to take it. This is by far my best play with the hero, and we will get onto that in a bit. Skill expression could be a bit of an issue with the hero, but I gotta be honest, guys, I felt badass doing that, and watching this clip back, I feel really badass. So I think Blizzard have nailed that component. But let's talk about Hyper Ring, because I think this is essentially a goated ability. Now, you look at it, and on the face of it, you think, okay, well, you throw the ring down, your team have to run through it. It's kind of a bit janky. Yeah, are your team going to run through it? Well, look at the Hog here. The Hog didn't have any choice. I made him run through it. I think what you should be doing with this is using it to enable your tanks to allow them to close distance and get into the enemy's face. In this example here, I'm using it to sort of push around the right-hand side and command center. But yeah, anything that requires fast movement, I think it's going to be very, very powerful for that, because obviously it's a speed boost. It sounds stupid when I say that, but I think like when you look at the tank component to this, think about shoving your Reinhardt into the enemy team super fast. Shoving your front line into the enemy team without them actually expecting it is such a powerful ability. Also, you get a speed boost from it when you use it, so you can use it to just disengage yourself. Now, this is the big gripe I've got with Juno so far. The movement feels actually horrible. I think if this clip sums it up, this is a play of the game by an enemy Widowmaker. Watch me. Look at me on my nice horizontal plane, my nice, very easy to hit horizontal plane. It goes without saying, if you move horizontally without erratic movement, you're very easy to shoot, you're very easy to kill. I feel right now you're kind of getting punished for using the glide boost, because you just stay on one plane of movement. You can't go up or down with it. Okay, you can do a little bit of a jump, but you can't go up or down. I think this is a wider problem with the character's design, and I think this could be one of the issues that actually will prevent people from playing the character. She doesn't feel fluid when you're popping the movement. Like, look at this here. The only way for me to go down after I've popped the movement is to cancel it. It would be nice, Blizzard, if you just let us crouch and we could go down. It would also be nice if you would let us go up with the movement. Also, there's things like it doesn't conserve momentum when you exit the hyperglide, and the boost glide, whatever the hell it's called, hyper. I don't know why. Hyper is the hyper ring, isn't it? Everything's all getting mashed together. But also, it would be nice if it actually reset her passive. Now, her passive gives her a double jump on reset. So the reset being when she lands on the ground. However, you popped glide boost. It would be nice if it reset that and you could double jump again. That would give you that sort of vertical mobility component. I think she probably needs to feel a bit safer, because she is very squishy when she's flying around in the air, and it can be a bit of a problem. In fact, I think it's the biggest problem the character has got right now. So when I think of things Blizzard need to do, definitely need to address the movement. The other thing which I really like about this with the hero design, there's no get out of jail free card here. There's no BAP lamp. There's no Moira, oh god, I'm just going to run away. There's none of that. It's you've got a speed boost. Yeah, you've got a limited sort of vertical mobility. It's very odd. It's so, when I watch it on this clip, it's so clunky. Like, you get stuck on a lot of terrain and you're trying to drop down and you can't, because you need to cancel the ability, but your first reaction is to press crouch to go down. It's almost like she needs Echo's flight, basically, and I think she would be quite good. Maybe Blizzard tried that though and she was too strong, who knows. Maybe they'll comment on that in the future. But to me, this is great support hero design, because there isn't just a button you can press that does a thing which gets rid of skill expression from the enemy team. Nobody likes a BAP lamp when it goes down and negates an ultimate or negates a killing moment. The BAP player probably gets a bit of excitement out of it. You know, I've played enough BAP to get the excitement out of that, but it doesn't feel great. It's not very good hero design. It's old hero design. What you need are these gaps in the gameplay where you can outplay each other, not just be like, uh-oh, they've got an ability, so we lose. The other component to the hero is the output. The figures that I'm seeing so far from the games that I've played personally are really good. Look at this. So here you can see both Junos. 3,800 damage for me, 2,700 damage for the other Juno. But look, the other Juno's done 7,600 healing, and I've done 9,179 in this game with 20% weapon accuracy. And you can see pulsar torpedoes are doing actually quite a nice bit of healing and a nice bit of damage. Again, let's look at another example here. So you can see I've got 5,900 damage. The enemy has got 3,737, but then they've got a lot more healing than me. So you can kind of see that balance playing out. And again, pulsar torpedoes done a bit more damage than healing there. You know, I think her numbers seem really solid. They seem really strong. They seem, well, okay, not, maybe I shouldn't say really strong, but they seem adequate. They seem good enough. because there is obviously a bit of a trade-off with the hero. And this is where skill expression comes into play. You have got damage fall off on your primary fire, which is, you know, that's not a strange thing in Overwatch. A lot of heroes have that. But also you've got healing fall off on your primary fire. This means that you kind of need to be pretty close to your allies to actually give them the maximum healing potential, whereas like an Ana doesn't need that and actually can support heroes from range more effectively. But, you know, there's a give and take, and that's fine. The issue with the skill expression and the Ana example that I want to lead into is there's no headshot on Ana, there's no headshot on Juno. But should Juno have a headshot? Now, I've been back and forth on this debate with myself. I kind of think that no, she shouldn't have a headshot. She kind of doesn't need it. But then I think, well, actually, if she did have headshot on damage, I'm not talking on healing, just on damage, then that would differentiate the Junos at higher levels, right? Because what I'm trying to kind of work out in my head here is, what is a high-level Juno player? Now, I know this is all ludicrous. We've only had the hero for one day. But this is the best way to test the hero. You know, and you guys know that I used to be part of Blizzard, where they'd invite you to all these tests. I don't even think they do those tests anymore. I think they show the hero off at certain special events they hold throughout the year, but I don't go to any of those events. I don't test the hero on any kind of private server or whatever. You just get to play the hero in actually live when the trial comes out. And I'm actually a strong believer that this is the best way to do it, because you get a better idea. Like when you're playing with influencers or against devs and things like that, it's all a bit artificial. It's not actually how the hero would play. So anyway, yeah, it gives you a good representation of the hero. So when I'm looking forward and thinking, well, where's the skill expression here? Like, how will we know a good Juno from a bad Juno? Well, I think a good Juno is going to know when to actually speed boost the tank, when to speed boost when it's needed, right, with the flankers and stuff like that. A good Juno is going to know when to use pulsar torpedoes, which I haven't actually spoke about so far in this video because it is a little bit divisive. Pulsar torpedoes are... they're essentially a no-brain ability, right? I'm hovering around in the air, you lock onto the enemy targets and your allies, you fire it off, you do damage, and you heal your allies, do damage to the enemy. It's really good for finishing off targets. Actually does a surprising amount of damage as well, especially if people are trying to run away. You will notice you will get a bunch of kills with it. It's a lock-on ability. Again, that's skill expression, like with an ability that locks on. It's almost akin to saying like the skill expression with Moira's alternate fire. You know, where's the difference between a really good Moira player and a sort of average Moira player? You can't tell too much difference with the alternate fire, I would argue. So when she's doing damage, the difference comes in the game knowledge, which sort of extends to all of the Overwatch heroes. So this is where I kind of come to my final thoughts on Juno so far. I think, and this is going to sound crazy, I think Blizzard will end up doing something with the primary fire to maybe make it a bit more potent. I really, really hope they do something about the glide boost. It doesn't feel great to use, guys. If this hero's been under development for over a year, I don't know why they have decided to launch the hero with this type of movement. It feels odd. It feels strange. I can imagine what they're trying to do is they don't want it to feel like D.Va, they don't want it to feel like Echo, so they're kind of like trying to find that middle ground. But it just feels janky, guys. It doesn't feel good, and it could be the thing which just off-puts people from playing the hero. This clip here you can see, I mean, I think I've got a relatively good position here to my team. My team are obviously pushing the enemy back. They're finding it hard to push through the choke. It's giving me the chance to sort of sit at the back. Gives me a good target availability for pulsar torpedoes. It lets me use my double jump to get up into the air. Obviously, I'm using my double jump in conjunction with the glide boost to stay up into the air, and I can lock onto the targets, or at least, well, glide boost to kind of move around a bit in the air, I guess. But this is probably the optimal position for the hero. I think she's fine, right? I think she is okay when it comes to dealing with flankers harassing her. She's not as strong as your Baps, as your Briggs, as your Moiras, because they can heal themselves, which is the other thing we should probably talk about. You cannot actually heal yourself. You are relying on the passive to kick in and start healing you. There's no way of healing yourself with this hero, which is a little bit of a weakness, but she's got movement, right? And it should make up for it. But is her movement better than Lucio? I don't know. Well, I can answer that straight up. It's not. Lucio is in a completely different league when it comes to hero mobility. In terms of accessibility, which I think this is actually kind of funny. I get stuck on this. Stuck on the train. But in terms of accessibility, Lucio is a lot less accessible than Juno. Juno, you can just press a couple of buttons and you're flying around, albeit on a horizontal plane. You've got your little speed boost. Yeah, you kind of, you can pick her up. An idiot like me can play her okay straight away. Lucio, no. You need to spend an insane amount of hours. You need to learn all the map geometry, and then suddenly you become insane. But Lucio is sort of the benchmark of this. A really good Lucio player, it's very easy to tell the difference between an average Lucio player. But Juno, will it be easy to tell the difference between an average and maybe a better than average or a good Juno player? I think it will be, because I think Juno, it's about game knowledge. Again, it's about knowing when to use your abilities, knowing how to support your team. But the thing is, I don't think you've got those sort of individual pop-off moments. Maybe that could be cured if her weapon has some sort of headshot mechanic added to it. Because then, yeah, you get rewarded. The only downside I'd say to that, though, is she does have a pretty large spread on her primary fire. So giving her a headshot mechanic probably would be very easy to land. So they'd have to start looking at the spread, which could be an issue. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. But I think, all in all, if I had to rate Juno out of 10, I'd give her a solid 8 out of 10. Really enjoying the hero.